I am the unknown sailor, came lately from the sea. By Devil's bowl they stripped me bare, and there did murder me. They had no coin to buy them ale, but I a guinea gold, which furnished them with goodly fare, and made them newly bold. They walked with me upon the way, companions in the cold, but all alone they came to town, my coat and vestments sold. And all alone they left me there beside the Devil's bowl, which Thor had scooped out of the earth to save his blessed soul. And Thor it was did strike the flare my coat and vestments found, did bring the folk of Hindhead to me dead upon the ground. And at the sun in rake my 3 murderers were took, and condemned to die on Hindhead hill beneath the gibbet's hook. My thanks to folk of Hindhead town, who raised my cross and stone, but more to Thor, whose mighty storm did dash their cursed bones. Good afternoon. 4 o'clock on Monday afternoon. That poem which I'll repeat at the very end so that people who've joined us just who missed it will get to hear it. It's called, well, I've called it Hark the Creaking Irons, Hark the Screeching Owl, which is a quote from Turner, I think, who went to this place to draw it, and it's a folk tale that belongs to Surrey by a place called the Devil's Bowl, where a sailor was murdered. Unknown, and a grave raised for him, the unknown sailor. The bowl itself, the legend goes, it's Thor, the thunder god, whether by that name or his English name Thuna, who ripped up this great gouge in the earth to throw it at the devil who's been taunting him. And so you have this great scoop of a bowl in the middle of the hills. And there is a stone there, a standing stone, although of a much more modern nature, and that's a Celtic cross. Must be a couple of 100 years old. But I want to read some poems that deal with stones from much older times, from thousands of years ago, of which this one is called Castlerigg. Ring of time, ring of sky, of ridge and fell, of dry stone wall, of circled stones, of lovers' arms around a heartwood shown, a ring of truth. Scarred stones in the sanctuary, a face at the gateway, the sun's track measured in shadows, a gift of nuts at the door. Walking, the age of your soul sounded the age of mine, an ancient place, standing for all seasons, lives past and past, standing for what does not remain or stand, our days, our lives, the love that we command. At the edge of the field, a robin sang, mid blood-drop berries on the holly tree. staining his breast with strains of his song, safeguarding his sacred territory. A greater, redder lover he than any interloping man with years too many within his land and time. He sang us off, unseen, the blush of red across your chest and mine. That recalls a visit to the Stone Circle in Cumbria, in the Lake District, Castlerigg, which is so beautiful. It's a small circle of stones, and around that a ring of dry stone walls, and around that the hills, and around that the skies. Quite a lovely place. Hope to go back there again. Hello, whoever's there. I can't always tell who's watching. I think Suz is there, I'm pretty sure. Hello. Please feel free to leave a message, post us a comment, just to say hello and let me know that you're around. I've called this one Cromlech. And yes, it marks the many and varied layouts of standing stones, whether they're stood alone, whether they're arranged in rows, as they are in Brittany, I think, or in circles, single dolmens, or even stone seats. "We will hold you, gentle flesh," sang the brothers of stone. "Standing high upon the ness, we will hold you, gentle bone. We will house you, noble queen, side the passage of stone. Sure within the ladies' dean, we will hold you, gentle bone. We will shield you, slaughtered king, swore the sentries of stone, craggy shoulders in a ring, we will hold you, gentle bone. We will throne you, fallen prince, promised the seat of stone, where stars will bathe and rain will rinse. We will hold you, gentle bone. We will keep you, knotted foemen, swore the squadron of stone. Ranged along the soldier's bench, we will hold you, gentle bone. And ye shall hold us, earthen mother, sang the brothers of stone. With dragon's might and arching love, you will hold us, gentle one. I'm very glad that near us now, where we've moved to Oxford, there's a lovely small circle called the Rollrights, the Rollright Stones, and it's one of the first places we went to visit when we moved. I've been there several times before on the trip from London to Worcester. It's the most convenient place to stop. But this recalls, as the first one did to Castlerigg, this one calls a particular visit to the stones and particular things that were heard. Rollright. At the far edge of the circle, the dragon's stone, the drake, he might have been a flame. His curly eye was fixed on me, and his fired teeth were quick to bite. He bid me stay, spoke in words beneath the air, and how my ear strained to take the meaning from my fear. Words that did not move, like stones agrip upon the earth, words that did not spit out of his mouth, but rather shat behind my ear. Too thick to make it clear. I tried to leave, he called me back. Before the witnesses he told me, take them on their journey. Mine is done, no more to learn, but how to teach. And spurning all I know for what is shown. The stones became a wall with many doors, the white man and the black woman lying safe within. Leave them to love, he said, and go your way beyond the only door there is to choose. From the Rollright stones, that one. I'll come back to the stones towards the end when we get to Stonehenge, the Giant's Dance. For now, we'll come to another meeting place, which may be ancient or may be very new. The Crossroads, a place to meet uncanny beings. And a particular ritual or spell to allow you to see the fairy processional moving past. Important not to acknowledge them, important not to speak to them. Best to ignore them as you watch them go by. Which is probably good advice for any fairy encounter. Listening at the crossroads. Cover me with bull hide on an old grey sheepskin, my grey cat at my side. I shall listen at the crossroads. St. Mary's ahead of me, Luke and John to left and right, St. Bridget sat behind me. I shall listen at the crossroads. Place my axe in my hand and leave me, making sure none shall see me. In silence be sure to leave me, listening at the crossroads. Cat, will you tell me who lies so beside ye? Who's the fella staring at his axe blade sharp? Nor left nor right he's looking at the line that's passing by him, but he stares at his blade edge, bright and fine. Does he want to know his father's gold is hidden in the cellar floor? Does he want to know his mother's line descended from the Queen? Does he want to know his Sally Ann is waiting on his asking? Ha! You're a cat, and we're the dead. I'll tell him nothing. I don't know why I had an Irish accent fella, but why not? More reason why this one should, since it recounts a visit to a court-barrow atop a mountain in Ireland. Court-barrows are ones where, as well as a little semicircle of stones and a barrow behind, in front there's a flattened area of grass laid out like a little courtyard. And so they take the name court-barrows, and I visited this one in Ireland a number of times. It felt respectful and wise to be careful in my approach, not to assume a welcome. So I stepped very gently on visiting a court-barrow in Ireland. I'm climbing the hill in fog. This is the slenderest beginning of the route. Between these steps, the road becomes a different road, a path perhaps beneath, feeling of silver. It calls for a left. I'm on to grass now, since I don't know when, forgiving me the weight and my clumsy relationship. Stones in the mist like teeth, pretending they're not dancing. So far, so good. Did you not hear? He's in English. Through the thinner air, the path meets my foot with a wink, labyrinth in my mind. Out to the furthest, find yourself home already. Hello, stones. Hello, man. Hello, says the thank you for your name, for the walking of the path so reverently. Sit, play for us. But I'm on the mountainside with the mist, and the notes of my penny whistle sing across the valley for the fair invisible listening. And they might have been laughing at me, but I felt most welcome with them in the end. And from the stone circles and the crossroads, we come to the chalk giants and the hills, with this one called Hilltop. Naked on the hill crest, the chalk man flares into night, a fury of love, spitting stars into the cunt sky. Iron cuts at him, serrated edges in the wind, blunt as carrion, against the fire of his skin. He would dance, a spear dance, a cock strut, to glory the god, but he is an arrow let loose from the bow, and he bows to rut. The woman shines under heaven layered in silver, lowers open into earth, goddess swelling, over the hard rock of the world's cock. Widens her cunny trap to catch the coney, lets the blood spill, redden the root of the moon man's beam. She has no need to dance, lies beneath him as he comes under, pushing lips apart and empties her jar, the length of the sacrificial stone. And now I turn to my special guest. I can't invite anybody here, I don't know how to, or even digitally. So I'm reading occasional poems from friends of mine that have been published. And she doesn't know I'm doing this. I'll tell her afterwards and hope that she's not cross with me. But my friend who I met in Worcester goes by the name of Myfanwy Fox. And this is from a wee book called Fox Unkennelled. And two I'd like to read, the first of which is called Cwmmy Crab. A stitchwort shift, a bluebell shawl I cast aside in dancing. Heart's tongue moist, foxgloves tall, blossom frail, confetti fall, I'm eager for the asking. For I can call the fat cuckoo from Broomy Hill to Dully Canal, smooth frog spawn for my lover's pillow, down in Dinador's dells. Eels easy slip damp, meadows soft, barn owls ghost unseen, badgers dig for brooding wasps, scatter paper, fluster moths to feast upon a queen. For I can see fey glowworms beckon along faint tracks from lintel stalks, sisters beyond coiled adder's bracken, down in Llangaron's valley. Haws and rosehips, rain-jewelled hedges, sloes darken tangled thorns, breathe deep, tread light, flame leaves now pledge renewal, fed by little deaths, a rich bed to keep you warm. For I can hear the insects scurry as hedgehogs feast in beggar's ash, will harvest truffles, juicy berries, down in Hoarwithy hollow. Burning applewood, sweet smoked bright, you'll naked wait my coming. Beyond Imbolc flames, snowdrift white, beyond poor-tracked path, moon's icy light, I'll rest my ceaseless roaming. For I can waken dead that lie beneath the crust of Sugwas and St. Wernards. Whispers linger, deeds gone by, down in Cwmmin's Cwm. Gorgeous, rich and luscious poem from Myfanwy. Ode to Wasteland. Here's to those abandoned plots, tucked between the Desres estates, light industry, are unbuilt blocks of social housing NIMBYs hate. Buddleia, butterflies, blackcaps' nests, builders' rubble, piles of grit, tramps' respite, brave children's quests, teenage lovers' midnight trysts. Here's to ancient awkward fields, stone rush corners, claggy cliffs, impervious to economic yields that cause their farmers endless grief. Bramble tangles, badger sets, alder ash and silver birch, woodpeckers drumming, owls duet, spit fur-bone pellets beneath their perch. Here's to gardens gone to briar, rotting log piles, veg plots swelled with rosebay, thistles, old car tires, where mosquito larvae snorkel. At dusk, moths flirt with star-sparked glass, newts and toads seek oozy mates, house eaves heave with stirring bats, death-watch beetles tick and wait. Fox Unkennelled by Myfanwy Fox, which sadly I may not be available now, I don't know. I'll post details of it afterwards anyway, in case you want to seek it out. So I have 3 more to offer before a reprise of the first poem. Also close to me here, very thankfully, is Wayland's Smithy. And though I don't have poems about the tomb, I have these 2 that recount the story of Wayland, or comment upon it. If you're not familiar with the tale, I'll let you know it now, so you're not, make the hearing of it that bit easier. But 3 brothers, one of them Wayland, met 3 swan maidens, loved them, married them. Then when the brothers were away, and his swan bride also away, her name is Hervör, the king Nithud snatched Wayland, hamstrung him, kept him prisoner on an island because of his famous smithing skills, caused him to create gorgeous works of metalcraft. Wayland got his revenge by killing the sons, turning their heads into cups, and by getting a child on his daughter. And then finally, having created a set of wings, swan's wings for himself, he flew away from his captivity. His swan bride was named Hervör, and that is the title of the poem. She, a swan, descended unto me, flight released from feathers white, traded for weight. Wayland, my love, honked through a hard beak, held then. Circled her wing around my soft neck, berry eyes beaming, bill rasps a warding, spell of care spoken. Spring of sunrise will see a leaving, I left sleeping. Brothers gone a roaming, breaking doors, soldiers seize me, sent to the island, ring snatched, broken, sword blade gone. Nithud lays his need bands, knives to the hamstring. Bring them with my beauty, brothers and a sister. Faces flare, forge my own bindings, cupping their heads, claiming her ring. Boys made to goblets, girl made a bearer. She, a swan, I sing down upon me, opens out my whitest neck, webs on my feet, settle her breast snug on my own. Feel a lift of flight, fiercely she loves. The daughter of the king was named Beadohilde, and I've taken her name to title this one, Make of Me, Beadohilde. Alf surprised me with his beauty. He was a big man, but he needed a limp when he walked, and he shone with a swan's grace, bewildered. He'd a love he would sing of, flying over he would follow with his eyes. It was bewitching, before settling his gaze upon me. And I, an object of desire, would stand like a shield above him as he fell, as he danced, feeling as the light does on silver and gold, as the chains at his ankle. He showed me 2 cups he had made for my father, a ring made for me. He showed of me wings that would carry us. I grew in surrender, his bill, my neck, because I wanted this touch in a man's hands, ridden on a mare. I felt this roar. I felt him. I lifted him into the air, both of us biting on freedom, the sky as our brother. He told me I prophesied. words in my sleep. He thanked me for my blessing. Where I disappeared to, where I coalesced, I cannot remember, nor where he went. I don't know if I can see who's here. Just have a quick look, see if there's any messages before I go into the next one. No, I can't tell who's visiting and who's not. Hello to you all anyway. Technicalities. So Stonehenge. This poem was inspired by its alternative title, which I don't know is readily known, but another name for Stonehenge is the Giant's Dance. Some of you will have heard this before, I think. Last night, I walked amongst the hanging stones of old Stonehenge, content to see if I might learn the famous giant's dance. I trod a careful, measured step, though sometimes I skipped, to hold a self-awareness in the slowly falling trance. The earth was firm, my foot was sure, the moon was clear and all the stars aloft. The stones were firm set in the silver gleam, my count was certain. But still sometimes I faltered and tripped, a jar of limbs, shock enough to keep my sense within the dream. And so with each blink I caught the hint of a glinted glance, the sarsen standing bright with measured moon, of fairy followers flitting along beside to a fitful borrowed tune, my feet still holding firm upon the steady beat and merry. A solid tread I sought to keep upon the heavy ground, a rooted walk the winged gleams are washing against my corner eye, a step on step and a whirling around, a planted foot and progress made to 7 points above, below, ahead, behind, to left and right and forward into time, only to find that time was bent. The way I'd first intended was broken and spent. A fold of the earth, and now upon another route, another way I went, where feet on the ground were no longer a certainty. Plod as I might on the sod, a lighter foot or 3 was now delivering me, a grip on my arms, a grin at my ear, to flighty cavorting knees were jangling, bantering, kicking a high and dexterous caper. Over my head as fiddlers strung the flighty stones with quivering, rollicking, jingling tunes. Away with a sauntering, swaggering stagger of fairyland instruments, trumpets, fiddles and bumpering drums. Silvery masked with tittering features, jubilant horns and hoofings, leathery wings. I found myself taken by arms demoniacal, slender as luminous swans, and flying me over the grass and the tussocks, forbearing me, carrying all in a debris around and around and around and around and around over circling ground. No touch of a leaf of the lawn underneath my dangling feet. My slippers complete me away, my wig given up to the wind. My so heavy coat was thrown as a serpent's skin, and all of my gold. Above me the stones, magnificent giants, exploding up over their seats and dancing, thundering hard to the numinous beat. The thrum of the drum had the hanging stones jumping, the swipe of the pipes had the breezes competing, the wings on the strings brought my heavy weight flung to the stars, and all of the trees on the roundabout plains throwing their leaves in a somersault dance over opening howls, a gaping ground, the simper of unsettled bones, my visions distorted, my hearing contorted, my writhing limbs as stripped as a willow, consorted with full underbellies and thighs all hairy, alive in the arms of a fairy, wheel, a reel, or spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, spinning, spinning and spinning and spinning and... I woke on the morrow with my heart free of sorrow, the tunes they had borrowed echoing over the stones, the barrows, the settling plain. The Giant's Dance. By the way, that was also written for an event held by my friend Saz, I don't think he's watching, for her dance meets poetry night, which worked very, very well. So that was almost the last, just to reprise the very first poem again for you. Thank you so much for joining me and listening. I hope you did enjoy. I'll be back again day after tomorrow, which happens to be a Wednesday. And the video for this will be on the timeline subsequent, if you want to hear it again or watch them again. I realise I didn't turn any of the lights on, so I don't know how. I might be... Well, I'm relying on daylight, which is beginning to disappear. And I'll tell you what, not just 2 weeks ago, doing it at this time, it would have been dark outside. So there's a thing. So return to the Surrey Hills and the Devil's Punch Bowl by Hindhead Town, where there is a gravestone raised to an unknown sailor found murdered on the hills by the edge of the Devil's Bowl, and was later erected a Celtic cross and a gibbet, and where Turner, the artist, came to sketch one day, and where I think he wrote a short verse, of which one line is, "Hark the creaking irons, hark the screeching owl." I am the unknown sailor, come lately from the sea. By Devil's Bowl they stripped me bare, and there did murder me. They had no coin to buy them ale, but I a guinea gold, which furnished them with goodly fare, and made them newly bold. They walked with me upon the way, companions in the cold, but all alone they came to town, my coat and vestments sold. And all alone they left me there beside the Devil's Bowl, which Thor had scooped out of the earth to save his blessed souls. And Thor it was did strike the flare my coat and vestments found, did bring the folk of Hindhead to me dead upon the ground. And at the sun in rake my 3 murderers were took, and condemned to die by on Hindhead Hill beneath the gibbet's hook. My thanks to folk of Hindhead Town, who raised my cross and stone, but more to Thor, whose mighty storm did dash their cursed bone.